The Denver Nuggets, they're streaking. The winners of 7 straight games. And the Nuggets, they look like a completely different team. Y'all, Nikola Jokic, my goodness. The run that he is currently on, he looks like one of the best players we've ever seen, and he might be getting even better. Y'all, and one of the things about the 7-game win streak that's really standing out, all of a sudden, the Booth Boys, they all look like they've got something to offer to this team. Y'all, I can't wait. Y'all know what time it is. We got to get right into it. This is Locked On Nuggets.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to Locked On Nuggets. This is your host, Swipe, but this is your team every day. Shout out to y'all. So glad to be here with you all today. This is going to be an action-packed episode. There's a lot of stuff we got to tap into, y'all. But make sure, y'all, that if you're listening to this on Apple iTunes and Spotify, give us a 5-star review. That way more and more people can listen to the great content being made here at Locked On Nuggets. And if you're watching this on YouTube, we are almost at 9,000 subscribers. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button. We're on the way to 10,000 subscribers this season. Y'all, let's get straight into it. Y'all, the Denver Nuggets, can you smell what the Nuggets are cooking? Not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not 6, 7 straight wins for your Denver Nuggets. And all of a sudden, they look like a team that is trying to channel the very best version of themselves, and they are going out there and putting on some spectacular performances, including last night versus the Portland Trail Blazers. Now, here's the thing. The Nuggets don't even feel like they're sprinting. They don't feel as if they're going all out, giving maximum effort, because you know what? The defense, y'all, is still there, and then it's not. But again, we're going to get into this a little bit. The last 7 games, the Nuggets defense, it's been pretty good. It's been pretty good. Now, again, granted, they haven't been playing the most stout offenses in the league, but they have been playing against some teams that have been very good, including this Portland Trail Blazers team, y'all. A lot of people have been sleeping on this Blazers team. The Blazers going into last night, y'all, if you didn't know this, since January 1st, do you know that the Portland Trail Blazers had the number 3 defense in the NBA since January 1st? Did you know that? Did you know that the Blazers had been one of the hottest teams in the league over the last 15 games? Did you know the Blazers, they've been putting a lot of fear in a lot of people's eyes. The Blazers, earlier this year, they put back-to-back whoopings on the Minnesota Timberwolves. This Blazers team is good. Scoot Henderson is having a resurgence. Anthony Simon's been playing well. Donovan Clingan, DeAndre Ayton, who went down with an injury. They've had multiple players that have been able to step in and do some really, really good things for them over the last month. And on top of that, Chauncey Billups, Mr. Big Shot, the king of Park Hill himself, they're turning it around in part due to his coaching. Across the board, the Blazers have been a team that's given a lot of people a lot of problems. And so even going into the game myself, man, the Denver Nuggets, if they're going to take care of business to continue to extend this win streak, it's going to take some real concentration for them. It's going to take the Nuggets being able to lock in on their keys defensively and do what they're supposed to do. And y'all, they started off the game crazy yesterday. The Denver Nuggets started the game 11 of 11 from the field, and they were doing everything they wanted, whether it's in half court or transition. And then on the other end, they were playing good defense. They were locking in. They were making good rotations. They were going after the ball. That was one of those games where it's like, you know, my colleague, Ryan Blackburn, I think he's been using a phrase that I like as of late. It was a professional game for the Denver Nuggets. Again, it's not a game that required like some hellacious amount of effort. It didn't require them to wake up a championship spirit. It just required them to be themselves and to continue to attack the rim, to find ways to generate good looks around the basket. The Denver Nuggets, what they're doing now, they're trying to get in gear in trusting one another, trusting what's happening in front of them, trusting the game plan, but then going out there and being able to execute on it. And last night was just another example of that. And, you know, one of the most impressive parts about tonight, last night is Nikola Jokic. Now, Nikola Jokic, he's already having, I think, one of the best years in NBA history. That's not even really much of a discussion for me. I think he's been the most impactful player in the sport this year. But last night, he even was going to a level that I'm just like, man, he must feel so confident right now, because Nikola Jokic gave the Portland Trailblazers, he gave them 40 points in 3 quarters, y'all. 40 points in 3 quarters. Jokic played 3 quarters. He played 30 minutes last night. He had a 151 offensive rating, and the Nuggets had a 115 defensive rating when he was on the court yesterday. And a 78.4 true shooting by Joker. Joker's three-point ball was falling. Everybody kind of remembers that fadeaway dribble, force myself further into the corner three-pointer that he had over DeAndre Ayton. That was an incredible shot. Joker then had 2 shots where he was fouled on three-point attempts, and one of them that he made, and it didn't go his way. They gave him the whistle on the ground for whatever reason, because they called it a rip-through instead of going up for a shot attempt. And then Joker finally got one later in the game versus DeAndre Ayton, where DeAndre Ayton again, or Donovan Clingan rather, Donovan Clingan was putting his hands in the cookie jar, just trying to put a hand up. That way, if Joker shot it, he could contest, because, Clingan is a big man. And so Joker, knowing this and knowing that the Rook was out of position, he kind of leaned in, caught his arm, and was able to hit the 2-point mid. And what I love is that Joker has locked into this place where it's like he just feels comfortable within himself. Joker self-admittedly is playing the best basketball he ever has. And that is subsequently showing up a lot over the course of this run that the Denver Nuggets have been on. And a large part of this is when Jokic feels like he has the help that he needs to be able to do what he has to do, he's spectacular. The 7-game win streak, y'all, Joker's averaging 31, 10, and 11, 1.9 steals. He's shooting 65% from the field, 39% from 3, and 86% from the free throw line. And the Nuggets are a plus 96 in all of those minutes. You love to see it. You love to see how aggressive he's being. You love to see how decisive he's being. Now, he was a little sloppy. I think he had 5 turnovers yesterday. So you want to see him take care of the ball a little bit more. But again, y'all, that's not really a big deal for me. And one of the reasons why is when Joker has turnovers, it's typically because Joker is trying to create opportunities for other teammates. It's mostly never because he's just trying to do something and he's just trying to kind of take over and disregard everything that's happening around him. But no, he's actually trying to get something done. He's trying to get a play to go to a particular spot on the court. He's trying to open up the rim, open up a wide open 3-point opportunity. And so he'll throw some passes all over the place at times. But yesterday, man, again, it's the fact that Joker has gotten to this point where he is able to score with anybody in the league, and I think he's the best scorer in basketball. I've said this. He's averaging 29.8 points per game, y'all, on a 68 true shooting, basically. Just unheard of greatness. And then on the other end, you're having to deal with the fact that he's able to manipulate the offense on the other end by getting his hands in the pocket, creating deflections, kind of reading where the ball is at all times. And all that stuff is showing up because now we're in a situation where they're just kind of able to set back into a half-court setting because they're making their shots. And that's the thing. When the Nuggets make their shots, their defense looks even better. And again, that's another thing that's been apparent over the last 7 games. But all the way around, man. And then Christian Braun, my goodness. 26 points for Christian Braun, 12 of 14 from the field, 2 of 2 from the free throw line for Christian Braun. And again, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and CB continues to prove, and we're going to talk about this later too with the Booth Boys, that if you have a player that's extremely athletic, that loves to attack, that loves to get big, and they love to create contact at the rim, a lot of it is just about how can you help them to learn their body? How can you help them to learn positioning? How can you help them to learn how to use their explosion? And that's exactly what's happened with CB in year 3. He's just gotten so much more intelligent about how to deploy his assets and to deploy his athleticism and his verticality, and when he's going to challenge you at the rim, when he's going to get a pump fake, when he's going to kind of spin off, and then hit a little fadeaway jumper. And he's figuring all this stuff out, and you can tell it, and it's noticeable on camera. And they're just absolutely dominating. Yo, on the other side, y'all, this 7-game win streak, man, we're going to talk about some numbers associated with the 7-game win streak. I actually want to give you some information, too, why you should be a little more encouraged about what you're seeing from the Nuggets. And then we can talk about a little bit, Booth, maybe, just maybe, he got something cooking. We'll be right back for more here on Locked On Nuggets. Running a small business means you're wearing a lot of hats. Your personal phone becomes your business phone, and before you know it, you're juggling customer calls all day and night. As your team grows, it becomes impossible to manage everything with just your personal number. That's where Open Phone comes in. It's the number one business phone system designed to help you keep your work and personal life separate. Now, for just $15 a month, a cost of a few coffee, you get complete transparency and visibility into everything happening with your business phone number. Open Phone works through an app on your phone, and it uses AI-powered call transcripts and summaries. So you'll have a rundown of your calls and action items the second you hang up. And if you miss a call, no problem. Automated messages are sent directly to your customer, ensuring that you never miss an opportunity to engage. So right now, Open Phone is offering 20% off your first 6 months when you go to openphone.com/lockedonnba. That's Openphone, OpenPhone.com/lockedonnba. For 20% off for 6 months. Openphone.com/lockedonnba. And if you have existing numbers with another service, Openphone will port them over at no extra charge. Y'all, we'll be back for more here on Locked On Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets, they're back. 7-game win streak, and we're here to talk about it at Locked On Nuggets. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe on the YouTube side. We're on the way to 9,000 subscribers, y'all. Wow. 7-game win streak. Wasn't that too long ago, y'all? They had a 3-game losing streak, including to the Buffalo Bills, the Chicago Bulls. And with it, they were giving up hellacious amount of threes. 54 threes allowed for 46%, I believe, was the final total in that game. Not good enough at all. And then they lose to the New York Knicks. Jokic, I think, maybe has his worst game of the year, completely disengaged. But then the Nuggets, because of how the schedule works, they get into a point in their schedule where the teams are still playing well. But on the other end, it's we need to make sure that we're doing what we can to secure wins. That way we go into the All-Star break and we got momentum. You go into the All-Star break and you have an idea of what you are and who you are and how you need to be playing. That's so much of NBA basketball. It's just finding points of momentum, finding points to be able to rally around, finding different things that will help you and support you as you're going through an NBA season. That stuff is really important. And you're seeing this happen right now in this 7-game win streak, y'all. And listen to these numbers. So in the 7-game win streak, y'all, Nuggets are obviously 7-0. They have the number one offense in basketball with a 130.2 offensive rating. A 130.2 offensive rating. And they also have the number 7 defense in the NBA at a 113.0 defensive rating. Now, they're second behind the OKC Thunder because why not? OKC is amazing. But they're a plus 17.2 right now. That's great. 130 and 113, that's great. That's what you want. You want to have a team that's able to dictate terms and dictate pace and able to determine how the other team is going to show up and also is going to try and guard you. And that's one of the best things about what this little segment has done is that now there's no Russ. Cool. No Peyton Watson. Cool. Michael Porter Jr. even has to sit down. So what we're going to do, we're going to elevate Julian Strawther. Come on in. And then what we're going to do, Jalen Pickett and Zeke Naji. Jalen Pickett and Zeke Naji. Oh, my goodness. Y'all, y'all have heard me talk about Zeke Najee. I saw some of this, right? Where Zeke, if you can just lock in like defensively, be stout, be aggressive, and just make sure you rebound. Play defense. Switch. He was 4 or 5 from the field, 11 points. You love to see it, Zeke. But the true one that you see on the thumbnail that has gotten me perplexed is Jalen Pickett. Because what? You want to talk about a dude that's screen navigating like CP3 and like Steve Nash. You want to talk about somebody that is literally creating pressure at the rim, able to find people on the perimeter, but also he's learned from Murray and Russ saying, let me just give Jokic the ball. That's the easiest shot in basketball. And so Joker literally is just sitting there in the paint, just like as he's kind of navigating around in a circle. And he's like, oh, okay, well, they left me alone for the most part. So ball, and then ball up. Ball up. Jalen Pickett had 3 passes yesterday where I was just like, excuse me, where did that come from? And I love how Calvin Booth had a vision, and he needs to continue to let these people develop. Like, it's going to take a lot to get them ready for the playoffs. But what I love about it is that they're in a situation now where they're giving real minute runs to some of their, younger players. Younger players that haven't got a lot of run in the league. Younger players that are just figuring out how to play NBA basketball, because y'all know everything in the NBA is up here. Everything. And when you're able to get players in your system and give them playing time, and one of the things I noted last night on the show, when you're developing, it is not a linear process. There's going to be peaks, there's going to be lows, there's going to be mid, there's going to be a lot. But the issue is that Jalen Pickett hadn't shown any even mid-level basketball because he looked like he was too small. He couldn't shoot. He wasn't decisive. But then now we get what we're getting right now from Jalen Pickett, and it's like, dude, like, I genuinely think that, man, he's a rotational guard at some point. Like, I don't know if it's going to be this team, but what he's done is he's been able to kind of solidify in the minds of the coaches that if you put me in this situation, I can thrive. If you put me with Jokic, I can thrive. If you take Jokic off and put me with Strother and some others, I'll still find a way to make myself useful. That's rare. Like, a player that's consistently willing to make themselves available to you, like, there's almost nothing that you would trade for it. Because if you got a player that's willing to step into the role and accept the critique and then accept the reality that they're going to have growing pains, this is where you are. Like, you get Jalen Pickett's. I think you get a Zeke Najee. All of these players are making small decisions every single day to get better. And they want to find out how they can continue to work together, same purpose, same mind, same goal, and develop. That's such a unique philosophy. And one of the reasons why people, including myself, were so down on this team is because once you got past the starting 5 and then maybe Russ, maybe Watson, that's it. But now with Zeke Najee and the defense he's playing, like, he's playing really good defense. And then now with Jalen Pickett's a good distributor. I think he's been playing good defense. So you're able to work them into the lineup, and this is without including the fact that Peyton Watson is not playing right now. Christian Brown has been playing well all year. So you add all that stuff up. You got the Booth boys in Brown, Watson, Pickett, Tyson, especially those 4, where they're just able, I think, to normally step in the situations that really amplify them and help them. And so we're in that situation now where That's exactly what Pickett is getting. That's what Strother needs and is getting. And that's what obviously Zeke Nnaji is getting. A community that supports them and that wants them to do well. That's amazing. Truly, that's amazing. Y'all on the other side, man. The Nuggets are good. And I'm starting to believe in Jalen Pickett. I'm starting to believe that Zeke Nnaji, even when he gets there, that he'll still be serviceable. Like when you start getting in higher level competition, I still think Zeke Nnaji is going to have value. But, you know, the defense he's been playing lately, get out of here, y'all. We'll be back for more here on Locked On Nuggets. What's going on, y'all? Welcome to the final segment of Locked On Nuggets, man. And I'm over here. I'm so excited. I am so happy for Jalen Pickett and for Zeke Nnaji. I'm so happy they've been able to respond to the moment. I'm so happy that Zeke, with all the stuff he's had to deal with from internally, all the stuff that, I mean, honestly, like just the pressures of having the contract, having the money, being a guy that's on the trade deadline, on the wire, all that other stuff, and then to be able to get positioned to do this, like, it's amazing that this is the testament to the players, is that you didn't just allow for a moment to destabilize you, but you stayed in it. You stayed involved. You kept the process going. You committed to getting better. That's all the kind of stuff that you want to see. So I think that the way the Nuggets are currently slotted, they should be very happy with the 2 timeline look, because you're getting the veterans and the veterans are getting healthy. But then on top of that, you're getting these young players that are figuring stuff out. Man, Joey, I don't think you have to worry about that. No contract extensions up for Zeke, honestly. But again, y'all, if say the Nuggets are in a playoff setting, I'm just saying, like they were in 23, where Jeff Green was the second option. Say you get a situation to where now, like, you just need it. You need something. You need another player. You need someone else in your rotation. Now, guess what? We got 40 games with Zeke Nnaji. We got 40 games with Jalen Pickett. And we got 82 plus games with Julian Strother. Well, now you can go into a playoff and it's like, all right, cool, options. Like that is the biggest thing about the playoff that I think people need to know. It's about optionality. It's about solving problems. It's about solving riddles. How well can you solve the issues the team is notifying you? Like how well can you solve those issues when the team is letting you know, okay, you're not going to get that. You're not going to get this in the paint here. You're not going to be able to find the corner here. You're not going to get a base pick and roll, because now we're going to show, and then how you can adjust with your scheme. But when the personnel is not working, say you need a backup point guard and Russell Westbrook's not fitting in that position. Russell Westbrook's not good in this matchup. Well, now you got Jalen Pickett. What if Peyton Watson, what if he's really good defender, but you need bigger size, because now they got LeBron or whatever at the 4 spot, and Peyton, maybe he's just too small. He's too thin. Well, now you got Zeke Nnaji. And then you got Julian Strother. And then you got Russell Westbrook. Like, that's a solid 4. That's a solid 4 to have as options. And I think before all this, you just didn't know. And I think this is what this 7-game win streak is clarifying for everybody. It's like, man, we need to continue to allow them to develop, to grow into who they are, and to step into their roles. Well, we're going to lay the expectation for them, obviously, like this is the championship team with championship host, but this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. And I think that stuff is so imperative for developing young players. And again, I know that this is a little bit of a tangent, y'all, but you just have to look around the league. Like what OKC has done. I'm going to reference OKC with Isaiah Joe. Got Isaiah Joe. Cason Wallace. Drafted Cason Wallace. Kendrick Williams. Had him on the roster. Like what they're able to do in order to get their young players in their system, to get them growing in their system, to get them confident in their system, and then to be able to deploy them is like nothing else in the league. Aaron Wiggins' last 6 games has looked like a dang near all-star player. Excuse me? So how do you get there? Well, you have to play them. And you have to play them and teach them through the mistakes. And I think because where the Nuggets are right now, they don't have any younger type players or whatever that are locked into the rotation that you trust every single day, except for Christian Brown. So it's like, you got to build this up. You got to build this up. You got to go. And this is the thing I actually think is going to work. Craig, call me crazy. Call me crazy. I actually think it's going to work. Because now you know who trusts them: Murray, Porter, Gordon, Jokic. You know who's ready for them to be here? Those Murray, Porter, Jokic, Gordon. We know what to do with Zeke now. We know what to do with Jalen Pickett now. Now we can go ahead and add and do what we need to do. That's the vision. And I think what you're seeing in the last several games in this win streak is that if you have like a player like Zeke who feels good enough to be confident, and you can just have them there. I don't know. Again, maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm tripping, y'all. Like maybe I'm wrong, and maybe those players won't add anything, and maybe this is all just predicated on hyperbole. But what I do like is that they're trying it, and they're seeing what's happening. Because again, Aaron Gordon's missed half the season this year. Michael Porter Jr., from everything I've heard about it, nothing serious. Like he's sitting out right now because of hamstring issues. But at the same time, you get him this time off. Hopefully you can win these games. Then you give him the entire All-Star break off, and you come back, you're 100%. Like, I think that currently where everything is, this is just the best route that they have to try to run it. 7, when will Block will be back? I have no idea. Vlaco, remember, he hurt his knee on that dunk that he had when he came back, I think versus Memphis. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But that looked bad. And so I think everybody's just gonna kind of be prepared and ready for that he might not end up being back. And if he is, like, I don't even know if he's gonna get in the rotation over Zeke. Completely honest with y'all. Again, MPJ, it's because of his hamstring issues and all that stuff that we're, wanting to make sure we're not letting just simmer, be a big deal. Because you obviously don't want to deal with your, I think, second best player this year. Just, throw that away. Could you see what happened with Anthony Davis? And then Luka just came back from injury. So just go ahead and manage that, let him sit. But look, man, the 7-game win streak, I think, is showing a lot of different things. And I love the fact that if you look at the minute distribution, you're getting DeAndre Jordan with 13 minutes, Hunter Tyson with 9 minutes. You're getting Zeke Naji with 18 minutes, Jalen Pickett with 29 minutes, Jamal Murray, 29 minutes, and then your Julian Strawther at 34 minutes. Like, that's great. That's great. Like, you can just kind of play the players that haven't played a lot in the first 3 quarters or in the season a lot. They can fill it out, and just kind of figure out like how they're supposed to be operating and all these things again. And then right here, this is it. This is why when you have young players, it could easily just be time. Just be time. Maybe Pickett just needed time. Maybe Zeke just needed time. Christian Brown needed time. And look at him. Peyton Watson, he just needs time. And he looks good when he's played. Look at him. He's got 2 game-saving blocks this year. And then you got Holmes, who's coming in next year to be the power forward / 4-5 swing. What if you have him and Zeke playing together? Now you got 2 switchable 5s. And one of them's a legit rim protector, and one of them is a legit floor spacer, and he's also a roller. Like, the thing about, like, some great teams, y'all, it's like you just have to be able to find guys that do some interesting things. Like Post for the Warriors, 2nd-round pick, he's making plays, hitting threes in big games. Like, you're looking around the league and you're just seeing OKC stack up on these young players, teach them their system, and you grow. And that for me is the theme. It's like, you know what? Jalen Pickett may never actually be CP3, but can he be a approximation of CP3? Can he have like the kind of small minute impact? Can he be able to step into a situation where he's a serviceable point guard? Okay, if you're getting serviceable point guard play from a 2nd-round pick, then you won. So I just think everybody has to be able to have an opportunity to say, I can play or I can't play. And if I can't play yet, this is how you can play in the future. And then you give them an opportunity, and if they fail again, then you can, do what you got to do. But this is a part of youth. This is a part of developing a team. Respectfully, this is a part of the CBA. The CBA's put teams in this bind where you can't just have veterans on your roster you're playing and resigning consistently. But they had 88 points in the paint yesterday. No bear. 88 points in the paint. They had 146 points on 8 made threes and 88 points in the paint. So, like, the Nuggets also have like a different kind of system. So asking young players to step into that and then learn and then be like, oh, play winning basketball, smart basketball all the time, that takes a lot. Like, it just takes a lot to be able to get to that point and to learn. But again, Jalen Pickett, Zeke Naji, Julian Strawther, they're learning and they've got it. That's what I love to see from this team. And I think, honestly, Denver Nuggets fans, that's what you should be encouraged by. You got your guys, you got your core four, you got your MVP, cool. You got Christian Brown, who's a clear starter in this league at the shooting guard spot, cool. You got Russ, cool for now, for good. Jalen Pickett, maybe he grows. Maybe you get something out of Julian Strawther for real come playoff time this year. Maybe you get some more stuff from Peyton Watson as he continues to develop his game, especially that half-court game that he's going to develop into with the mid-range and the fadeaway and the post and drive. But you let them work those things out because, again, it's not just the games. It's training camps, it's practice versus the ones, and you figure out all of that stuff. Lockdown Nuggets. Can the Nuggets score so much in the paint in the playoffs when you have teams like OKC, Minnesota, really big front lines? Yes, but no. No, you're going to have to make jump shots. But thankfully, and I don't want to go too long-winded, but I feel like this was a good stuff to stay on today, talking about like some of the young players. But what I will say, you all, is I pulled this up on my Twitter earlier, Swipe a Cam Twitter. The Nuggets are second in the NBA in effective field goal percentage with 57.5 effective field goal percentage rating. Okay? The Nuggets are fourth in the NBA in efficiency around the rim, and they're first in the NBA in rim attempts per game. The Nuggets are seventh in the NBA in mid-range percentages. And then they're also fourth in the NBA from three-point percentages. Now, why am I saying that? They may not take a lot, but what they do well is they force the defense to get in bad spots, especially when they're all on the court together. And I think that's actually going to aid them come playoff time, especially versus the OKC Thunder, should they see them in the Western Conference Finals or something like that. But y'all, let me know what y'all think. How do you like the player development from the young guys? How do you like what you're seeing from Nikola Jokic? What do you think about the 7-game win streak? They got Portland coming up again. Last game for All-Star break. Can they make it 8? Can they get the 36-19 and then be ready to come back from the All-Star break with mission and a championship on their mind? Y'all, this is Swiper. This is Locked On Nuggets. Y'all know what time it is. See you on the other side.